Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 704, relating to prohibiting defenses based on certain characteristics of the victim.
Recognize Senator Rob Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to urge an aye vote for Senate Bill 704. This bill bans the use of the LGBTQ panic defense in Oregon courts. This issue was brought to my attention by one of my summer interns last year, and I want to thank Lane and for Basic Rights Oregon for all their energy in organizing on this legislation. The LGBTQ panic defense is a legal strategy that claims a victim's sexual orientation or gender identity is to blame for the defendant's violent reaction, even murder. If this legislation is passed, Oregon would be the 13th state to ban the LGBTQ panic defense. Virginia passed this legislation just 2 weeks ago. 2020 was one of the deadliest years on record for transgender people, with 44 people dying as a result of violent acts against them. In our neighboring state of Washington, you may have heard about the tragic case of Nikki Kuhnhausen, a 17-year-old Vancouver resident who was strangled to death in 2019 after her gender identity was discovered by an assailant. Before the trial, the Washington State Legislature passed the Nikki Kuhnhausen Act into law, prohibiting defendants from arguing that the discovery of a victim's actual or perceived gender identity leads to diminished capacity. This legislation makes a necessary legal change in Oregon. We cannot allow future criminal defendants that have violently reacted to another person's gender to claim that that behavior was justified. I urge an aye vote on Senate Bill 704.
Discussion. Senator Kate Lieber.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the bill.
To the bill.
Colleagues, I rise in support of Senate Bill 704. As only the second LGBTQIA and the first openly gay member of the Oregon Senate, I feel strongly about ensuring that Oregon is a safe place for my community. Making sure that prejudice does not excuse violence against LGBTQ Oregonians is an important step in the right direction. We need Senate Bill 704 to make clear that defenses like these cannot be used to justify violence and murder. As an attorney and a former prosecutor, I know firsthand how important statutory clarity is, especially when it comes to laws designed to protect communities at risk of discrimination and violence. So-called gay panic or trans panic defenses seek to excuse a defendant from full accountability on the grounds that the actual or perceived sexual orientation or gender identity of the victim is reasonable in and of itself to be considered adequate provocation. This cannot be the Oregon we want to see. I've taught criminal law at Portland Community College for over 10 years, and the first time that I taught out of this book, I was startled to see the gay panic defense appear in the section regarding adequate provocation. That textbook is in its 12th edition, and to this day, gay panic appears in that same section. This is why Senate Bill 704 is so vitally important, because no one should be able to use someone's actual or perceived gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation to claim that they were adequately provoked. Colleagues, let's take this step to make our state a safer place for LGBTQ Oregonians. I urge an aye vote.